We'll start now. That is a study session 2, types of business organizations. So that's what we're going to study today. Hello?
Hello, sir.
Hello?
We're with you, ready? Sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. So today is the types of business organizations. And it's also very important because it could feature very well in objective questions, those multiple choice. So if you don't know the types of business organizations, you'll not be able to get it. And you're also required to know the basic features of each type, so as to be able to differentiate. So they include one-man business. They also include a partnership. The partnership business types. We also have the limited companies. That is the conventional joint stock companies. You have public corporations and cooperative societies. I repeat, you have one-man business, otherwise called sole proprietors, or one-man business, sole proprietors. Then have the partnership. In the partnership, we have two types: general partnership and limited partnership. Then the limited companies, what we call the conventional joint stock companies. Then the public corporations. I didn't say public limited companies. Public limited companies are the limited companies. That is joint stock companies. But this one I say public corporations. These are ones owned by the government. Then the cooperative societies. So these are the types. These are the types of business organizations. Okay. So you will learn how they are being formed, financed, and managed in Nigeria. It's also very interesting and will be of immense benefit to you, especially these days that the government is emphasizing on entrepreneurship development. So the basic features will help you either to form one yourself or join to your business, whichever way, so as to be able to make it these days. So let's start with the sole proprietorship, a one-man business or the sole trader. I will just go through what we have. You may have noticed the multiplicity of small businesses around you. Please note multiplicity. It features in objective questions. Some are in the service sector as shoe shiners, hairdressers, dry cleaners, etc. Others try to engage in small-scale production like shoemaking, then dressmaking or manufacturers as the case may be. There are many. So as per definition, this form of business organization is owned, organized, and operated by one individual. It's owned, organized, and operated by one individual. So how are they formed? No organizational papers are required to be drawn up before it could be started. Anyone can just get up in the morning and decide to start a small-scale business, a small retail business, a small retail shop.
I've lost audio. Am I the only one?
No volume. No volume.
It looks like he mistakenly logged him or blocked his audio.
Sir, maybe you're on mute.
He's not here. I don't know if he's hearing what you're saying.
He is on mute. Sir, you're on mute.
Okay, we are muting. Kindly down, please. We are
I'm
muting.
hearing you.
Okay.
Are you hearing me?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Are you all right now?
Yes, sir.
Are you all right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so continue. So this type of business organization outnumbers other types. It outnumbers other types. That is what I mean by multiplicity. Multiplicity. Okay? So unfortunately, it is far less than others in terms of payrolls. It's far less than others in terms of payrolls. You are hearing me still, right? So, which are the conditions that will make one-man business to flourish? If you want to start one, which are the conditions that will make it to flourish very well? So, one-man business flourishes very well if the following conditions are met. One, a small capital is needed to set up the business. The conditions that favor one-man business. The conditions that favor one-man business. One, if a small capital is needed to set up the business. B, where personal attention to the needs of the customer is important. Where personal attention is very needed. Personal attention. 3, where specialized skill is needed. One-man business is very, very ideal. So any type of business, where small scale, where small capital is needed, where special attention is needed, where specialized skill is needed, then it will favor it. In other words, you're not be able to make profit. All right? Note the 3 conditions. Small capital is needed, personalized attention is needed, and specialized skill is needed. So, you have specialized skill, you can do very well as a one-man business. If personal attention is needed, you can do very well. You need small capital to start up, well, will also do well. So, in terms of financing, you'll be wondering why this type of business is everywhere. This is partly because the capital required for setting up this type of business is very small compared with other business forms. Capital requirement is very, very small. Capital requirement is very, very small. So, compared with other business forms, the proprietor may be able to raise it through his personal savings. The proprietor may be able to raise his capital required through his personal savings. He may be also able to borrow from friends and relations. You may be able to borrow from friends and relations. You may be able to borrow from daily contributions or have access to short-term bank loans. Short-term bank loans. Most importantly, you can get credit purchases. You can buy on credit, what we call trade credit purchases. Okay? This small capital requirement may become a problem. However, that is the major disadvantage. This capital requirement may become a small disadvantage. It may become a disadvantage when the money needed to expand the business is needed. So it may become a problem when the business needs to be expanded beyond its present scope of activities. In other words, it lacks expanded financial capability. It lacks expanded financial capabilities. In terms of advantages, the owner of the business, being the sole organizer, will will have access to the profit alone. The sole proprietor appropriates all the profits of the business alone. Since he is the owner and controller, the success of business depends on his personal initiatives and hard work. You want to make more profits, you work harder, you work extra time, you put in ideas, all on your own. So that drive, that's enough. Is the fact that is going to make appropriate profit alone will make him anyway to work very, very hard. So the next one is privacy. Nowadays, everybody has his technology. So there's privacy in terms of operation of accounts. The sole proprietor is not under any obligation to disclose his business tactics to anyone. He's not under any obligation. He also enjoys privacy in business accounts. In other words, he doesn't need to publish his account as required by law, since it's a private business. So he's not bound by any existing law to publish his accounts in the newspaper for public consumption, as is the case with joint stock companies. So enjoys privacy in terms of account, privacy in terms of business tactics and the rest of them. So the next one advantage is direct contact with employees and customers. Since the business requires personal touch, so he enjoys that contact. So the proprietor is in a direct contact with his employees and customers. Therefore, he maintains close relations and is better opportuned to render personal and satisfactory services. Yes, he's not far removed from his customers. It's not far removed. So he enjoys direct contact with the customers and is able to avoid incidents of bad debts. He's able to avoid instances of bad debts. That's an advantage deriving from that personal contact. Okay? So bad debt is going to be controlled. So what is bad debt? A debt has gone bad when it is irrecoverable. A debt has gone bad when it's irrecoverable. So the sole proprietor having personal contact with employees and customers will be able to avoid the incidents of bad debt because he knows them personally. He knows them personally. So too many of them can put a firm into a very difficult financial condition. You know it. It can lead a firm to liquidation. Therefore, there's got a relationship between the employer and the employees. The employer gives them loans, yes, extends visits, and gives them gifts when their wives give birth and during festivals or festive occasions. This is quite unlike the big companies where the managers are very far away from the workers. So that's the basic advantage when you talk about one-man business. The very important aspect of it is that it's easy to form. It's easy to form because since there's no organization papers that are needed to be drawn up, so it is very, very easy to form. The only legal requirement for starting this type of business is registration under the Registration of Business Names Act in some cases. After registration, a license will be issued, for business to start. The license will be just ordinary receipt or whatever it is. You can get to the local government and pay for the registration. They give you a license to start the business. In other words, they'll start disturbing you, start coming to your business to know how you operate and whatever, and start paying small money. Then the other one is quick decision making. Since you are in charge of profit and loss, any decision you want to take, you take it quickly. Any decision you want to take, you take it quickly. You don't have to consult anybody before you take a decision on either to start or to stop or to borrow money or to add or remove any business line. So you enjoy quick decision making, and that is a form of independence. The owner is independent of anybody. As a sole proprietor, he has the privilege of answering chairman Managing director, yes. His independence can print his complimentary card. Chairman, managing director, yes. And a lot of people will like it. They want to answer that because when you come to the community, people will be sharing you, they'll be hailing you, especially when you're succeeding. So he has the freedom to open for business at any time and also to close at will. Okay? Although most sole traders tend to work for a very long time in order to make more profits. He can even combine the business with any other kind of business. One can be a contractor and a farmer, a farmer and a trader, as the case may be. So being a sole trader will give you opportunity to combine other businesses. So the next one is the tax advantages. He enjoys tax advantages. The sole trader pays personal income tax on the account of, on the amount of income he's able to declare. So this is quite unlike the joint stock companies that pay company income tax at the stated company income tax rate. So sole traders are able to avoid and evade taxes. They're able to avoid and evade taxes. Note the two words, avoid and evade taxes. This is because there are too many and do not publish their accounts. So they derive and they exploit all the loopholes in the present tax laws to avoid paying taxes. Especially this time we're talking about subsidies. So when they count this as an advantage, government has lost in terms of huge amount of money. In Nigeria, in Nigeria, we only talk about payroll tax. Those businesses, they do not declare as much. So that's why we don't have enough revenue, internal revenue generation. So the other one is self-interest. Self-interest of the owner matters a lot. He has every opportunity and incentive to make his business as effective as possible by taking all precautionary measures to avoid wastages. Yes, since he's the owner, he has to try to be very, very effective and efficient because he tries to maintain that self-interest. As the owner, he has the opportunity to extend the period of work in a bid to make the business a success. He then can enjoy the pride of ownership. In that case, he enjoys the pride of ownership. Another one, just like ease of formation, is also enjoys ease of dissolution. Ease of dissolution. You can decide to dissolve the business at any time. A small scale hair salon or whatever, just packs up and sell whatever it is and takes up to another location. So it enjoys ease of dissolution. This applies to merchandising during Christmas seasons. Every time that has the advantage also possesses disadvantage. Many are the attractions of a sole trader, but it has its own shortcomings, as you just note later. So count them out to 1 A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. And there are many other ones you can count, the other ones you can come across. That are there. Can read a lot of them from many textbooks. Do not forget, do not forget, do not forget. So in terms of disadvantages, we have limited financial capability, which I've told you. Limited financial capability is one of them. Then limited scope for expansion. Limited scope for expansion due to lack of financial capability and specialization in management. Have limited scope for expansion due to the limited financial capability. When the volume of business increases, large investment in capital equipment, inventory, and cash will be required. Even if the owner has been able to borrow money from the bank or whatever, he may reach a point where he cannot borrow additional funds. In that case, other forms of incorporation, other forms of formation will be needed. So as increased demand is made for debt capital, lenders will insist on an increase in the equity capital because the firm's equity provides a margin of safety to the lenders. So at this point, the sole proprietary form of business displays its basic disadvantage its basic weaknesses. So the other one is unlimited financial liability. It's a major one. Please note it. Unlimited financial liability. And I also want you, as we go on, to distinguish between unlimited financial liability, what we call limited liability, and legal entity. I would like you to distinguish between the two. So another disadvantage of the sole proprietorship form of business is that of unlimited financial liability. That of unlimited financial liability. Yes. What is it? The proprietor's position as it relates to liability for debts of the business is an unfavorable one. This is because creditors have recourse not only to the assets of the business for settlements of its claims, but also on the personal property of the proprietor if the business asset is not enough to settle it. So it goes beyond the business asset to the personal asset of the owner. You have to settle the business debts. What are we saying? If the business is unable to settle its liability, the owner will have to sell some of his personal assets to make good the debt. That's unlimited financial capability. The other one is lack of continuity. If he drops, if you're sick or whatever, then the business stops. The business may not be able to continue. So in Nigeria, management succession is a problem. Most businesses or most firms, they just start business. Even their children, they will not train them, or they not tell them how to take over, or their children may not even have interest in that form of business. So the moment the owner drops, the business drops. That is a lack of continuity. The owner may elect to quit doing business anytime he prefers, or when death or sickness strikes, then the business closes. The next one is managerial deficiency. Managerial deficiency. Jack of trade, jack of trade and master of none. He knows everything. He does this and that, but yet he's not a specialist in anyone. That will affect his business because he has many lines: marketing, accounting, management, and the rest of them, finance. He may not be able to know all. In that case, that will be a problem for him. So what have we done? We looked at the formation of one-man business. We have looked at financing. We have looked at management. And we've checked the advantages and disadvantages. Then if you want to start business, does this form of business interest you? Do you have interest in going solo or sole, as the case may be? Well, you have to examine it very, very well. Otherwise, you may start and just stop. We move further to partnership form. And this is an association of two or more persons carrying on business with a view to making and sharing profits. That is the definition. Association of two or more persons. Then, carrying on business together with a view to sharing profit and losses. So, partnership form of business organization has many of its features. They have many of features of a sole trader. They have many features, even in terms of advantages and disadvantages. It's only an attempt to make the best of both worlds. One is to pull more resources together and escape one of the major limitations of the sole proprietorship. The other is to escape the legal and administrative inconveniences and consequences that often accompany incorporation. You start it as a partnership. You don't have to go to corporate affairs commission for anything. Okay? So that is it. You want to escape that legal requirements that accompany incorporation. Both of you will be able to team and contribute money. You're here. Are we together still? All right. So, what are formation? How is it formed? In its formation, there are no particular rules about the form of the agreement to guide the members. It may be made in writing, it may be oral, maybe by a deed. However, to avoid confusion, it is wise to draw up an agreement. The one that is generally used is the Articles of Partnership. Articles of Partnership. That is the one that is normally used. Article of Partnership. And in the document drawn and signed by the members, the following should be included. That in Articles of Partnership, the content should include: 1, the name of the partnership, the name of the partnership, the name of the partnership, Oluola and Sons, Oluola and Sons. Remember, I didn't put limited. Oluola and Sons or Oluola and Sons Limited. You go to the two types. Then the names of the partners should be there, clearly written. The nature of the business to be conducted should be put there. The capital contribution by each of the members should be put there. The capital contribution. Then the method to be followed in sharing profits and losses, not to avoid disputes, should be there. The next one is agency powers of the partners. To what extent can this one bind the partnership? What kind of move can he take? The agency powers of the partners. Procedure for admitting new partners. You don't want to admit new partners. Then what is the procedure? Can you just come and bring your son? Can you just bring your friend? If so, what is the procedure to be followed? Otherwise, there will be problems. All these are geared towards eliminating problems in the partnership. So procedure for a partner's withdrawal from the firm. Maybe you no longer want to be a partner. How do you withdraw? How do you withdraw? If you're only two and you withdraw, the business collapses. Or can one replace you? Can one replace you each years? What is the procedure to be followed for one to replace you in the business? So the partnership will still be alive. So the next one is procedure to be followed and how assets should be distributed on the solution. On the solution. Procedure to be followed and how assets should be distributed on the solution. Then bank accounts and signatories to it. Very important. How do you do it? Okay? There are bank accounts. How do you manage the accounts? And who are signatories? In case you have up to 4 or 5. So bank account and signatories to it. Then whether interest is to be paid on capital, withdrawals, and on a specific percentage, if one can borrow from it, if one can pay interest on capital contribution, if there's withdrawals made, the interest to be paid on it, and a specific percentage. Then duties of the partners, very, very important. Duties of the partners. What should be doing? Who is in charge of what? Which section are you managing? And which section am I managing? Or do you have powers to employ? As the case may be. Duties of the partners. Because you have several types of partnership. You have silent partners, you have nominal partners, you have very many types, which you shall go through as we move along. So, rights on the death of a partner. If a partner dies, what rights has he or she rights on the death of partner? Then there's arbitration clause. In case you decide to go to court to iron out an issue, there has to be an arbitration clause. The way you're going to do it, so that it will work very fine. So that is per article of partnership. Many things are included, some are left out, depending on the degree of familiarity amongst the members. It's good for it to be written down to guide the operation of the business. So to obtain registration, the particulars drawn up above must be forwarded to the appropriate ministry with his full postal address, and postal addresses of other businesses, occupations, or partners. No two partnerships should or are registered with the same names, as this will appear as if they are the same. This is to avoid deceiving the public as to the identities of the products. There are many types of partnerships depending on the form of agreement. Some people, especially those who are working in the ministry, give contribution, or they make contribution, they contribute money, okay, for the run of the business, and they expect a return as agreed. They do not take part in running the business, and sometimes are not known to be partners. So the various forms are the content of the next section, which we will have to go through. Kinds of partnership. General partnership is one. There are two types of partnership: general and limited partnerships. General and limited partnership. What's a general partnership? This is established when all partners carry on business as co-owners. General partnership. Note, all the partners carry on business as co-partners. All partners are liable for the debts of the business. General partnership. All partners are liable for the debts of the business. They all partake on equal terms in the management of the business in their respective capacities. They share the profits and losses on equal basis. A general partnership is one where all partners carry on the business as co-owners. All of them are liable for the debts of the business. They all partake on equal terms, on equal basis in the management and sharing of profits. They share the profits and losses on equal basis. As distinguished from partnership, limited partnership, this is composed of one or more general partners, one or more general partners, and some or more limited partners. In other words, limited partnership must have general partners and limited partners together. So, who is a limited partner? A limited partner is one whose liability is limited to the amount he contributed to the capital of the partnership. A limited partner is one whose liability is limited to the amount of money he contributed in the partnership. In case of losses, he is not going to make extra contribution to make good the losses or the debts or the business. It's only limited to the amount of money he has agreed to contribute or contributed in running the business. Normally, the limited partner does not take part in the management of the business, although he retains some rights. He does not take part in the management of the business, a limited partner, although he has the right as a partner to inspect and copy all partnership books because of contributed money. He has the right to inspect and copy all partnership books. 2, he has the right to demand and receive full information on all things affecting the partnership. 3, he has dissolution powers, winding up powers by order of the court to the same extent as possessed by a general partner. 4, he has a right to receive a share of partnership profits and return of his contribution upon withdrawal or dissolution. A limited partner has the right to inspect and copy all partnership books. He has a right to demand and receive full information on everything affecting the business. 3, he has the dissolution and winding up powers by the order of the court. 4, he has the right to receive a share of profit and also receive losses and return of his contribution in case of withdrawal or dissolution. There are various other kinds of partners depending on their roles in the business. So when I talk about limited partnership, there are various other types or kinds depending on their roles in the business. For instance, there may be a secret partner. A secret partner. A secret partner takes active part in the affairs of the business, but is not personally known to the public as a partner. He takes active part in the management of the business. He takes active part in the affairs of the business, but is not generally known to the public as a partner. That's a secret partner. There is also a silent partner. A silent partner who does not take part in the management of the business, but is known to be a partner. Secret partner, you don't know, but he takes active part in management. Silent partner is one who does not take part in the management, but is known to be a partner. Another type is a dormant partner. Is neither known to the public nor takes active part in the affairs of the business. And just contribute money and face his government work. Then others run the business and make return of profit or loss to him. That's a dormant partner. He contributes money and goes away. Secret one, he takes active part, but is not known to be a partner. Silent one, puts money. He does not take part in management, although people know him as a partner. A dormant partner is neither known nor take active part in the management of the business. There's the last one, a nominal partner. A nominal partner is not actually a partner, but holds himself or herself, portrays himself or herself as a partner. Partner, no. Partner by mouth. He's not a partner, but he portrays himself as a partner. Bobo. So, note please the distinction between an active partner, secret partner, silent partner, dormant partner, nominal partner. The only major advantage is that it has expanded financial capability. That's the only major advantage over a sole proprietor. They have advantage of expanded financial capability for the fact that they pool their resources to run the business. They also enjoy specialization in the management of the firm or the business. They enjoy specialization. One will take one part, another person another part, as the case may be. They enjoy specialization in management. So, expanded financial capability. Then, the next one is complementary management skills because of specialization. They also enjoy ease of formation and ease of dissolution. They also enjoy privacy because they are not mandated to publish their accounts. They also enjoy close relationship with their business customers and workers. So the major disadvantage they enjoy also is unlimited financial liability, just like the sole trader. They enjoy unlimited financial liability. They don't have a legal status. There's also lack of continuity. There's also lack of continuity, as in the case with the sole trader. Okay? Admission of a new partner may be a problem, There's always a mistrust amongst partners, and there's no non-transferability of interest except as is written in the articles of partnership. And also, they have slow in decision making because they have to contact one another before they take a major decision. So, in terms of financing, all the financing sources that are sole proprietorship enjoys are available to a partnership form of business with the added advantages of pulling our funds together. So that is it. Let's look at a private limited company. We just talked about general partnership. Let's look at private limited company. By definition, a private limited company is a legal entity created by law, recognizing the association of a number of persons for the purpose of a defined object. Okay? So that is a private limited company. Otherwise, we call private limited partnership. This form of business organization may come about as a result of a general partnership that wants to raise more capital while limiting its liability, or a group of persons forming a private limited company. So two ways majorly. Partnership general partnership may like to turn to limited partnership, or some group of persons may just form limited partnership. This type of business organization may be viewed as a special form of partnership. Okay? But somehow it's different from limited, is somehow different from general partnership, because under certain conditions, if you want to do it, it resists the right to transfer its shares. It resists its right to transfer shares, limits the number of its members to 50, then prohibits any invitation to the public to subscribe for any shares or debentures of the company. It maintains privacy in accounts still. The major difference is the limited liability that it enjoys. The major difference is the limited liability that it enjoys. Otherwise, it is still a general partnership. So the major difference between the general partnership and the limited partnership is that it resists the right to transfer its shares. In other words, the shares will not be traded in the exchange. It limits the number of its members to 50, or as amended, prohibits any invitation to the public to subscribe for shares or debentures of the company. It maintains privacy in accounts. So the major difference there is limited liability. Limited liability. Limited liability. That is the major difference. Limited liability. So we'll go to the next business form, which is joint stock companies. Joint stocks of public limited companies. That is the next business form that you want to look into. Joint stock stroke public limited companies. By definition, a public limited company is a legal person or legal entity. Note that the two forms we discussed before, they are not legal entities. They are not legal entities. They are not legal entities. Now we're talking about legal persons, legal entities. A public limited company is a legal person or legal entity created by the association of a number of persons in accordance with the law for the purpose of a defined object. It must be established for a specific purpose, such as to engage in a named business, which of course must not be injurious to the society. Just how companies have been described as association of capital rather than association of persons. Association of capital rather than association of persons. Because the identities of the shareholders are irrelevant to the conduct of the business. Hence, you contribute money, your name will be there, you buy your shares, you're using the money to run the business. If you don't want to own the shares again, if you don't want to be a part owner, you go to the exchange and sell off your shares to another person. A new certificate to be issued while the company continues to run. So whether you are there or not, the company will continue to run because the money is there. That is why it's called association of capital instead of association of persons. Association of capital. Because you can always go to the exchange and pick your money by selling your shares. So let me go through it again. It must be established for a specific purpose, such as to engage in a name business. Just how companies are being described as association of capital rather than association of persons, because the identities of the shareholders are irrelevant to the conduct of the business. The identity of the individual is lost because the company has perpetual succession, a distinctive name, and the right to sue and be sued in its own name. You see, that is why it's a legal person. As you contribute your money, you have created a legal person, a legal entity. So your identity as a shareholder is irrelevant. You continue to run the business because it has its own name. It has a right to sue and be sued. It has perpetual succession, quite unlike partnership and sole proprietorship, that you have lack of continuity. Lack of continuity. If there's any problem, the business will just die. But it's not easy for a joint stock company to die. It's not easy because the identities of the shareholders are different from the identities of the company. The company has its own right, has its own name. So, according to the Companies and Allied Matters Decree, any 7 or more persons associated for a lawful purpose may, by subscribing their names to a memorandum and articles of association and otherwise complying with the requirements of the decree in respect of registration, can incorporate a company. You can read that up. Any 7 or more persons, it's subject to change. It's not static. Any person or more, any 7 or more persons, associated for any lawful purpose may, by subscribing their names to the memorandum and articles of association, can otherwise complying with the requirements of the decree in respect of a registration, can incorporate a company. So in this case now, you have memorandum and articles, but another one was the partnership deed, articles of partnership. Yeah, you have now 2, memorandum and the articles. So go further to look at each of them. Okay, how is it formed? The steps in the formation of a joint stock company are as follows. Remember, subject to change. It varies. 1, the promoters must devise a scheme of capitalization, bearing in mind price to be paid if for an existing business. An existing business may go public. Then, assets to be purchased if it's a new business, and the cost of formation. The cost of formation and also working capital. 2, the promoters must approach financiers with a view to share underwriting. 3, the solicitor prepares any contract in connection with the registration of the company. Such documents include the memorandum and articles of association. The memorandum and articles of association that to be drafted by legal personnel. Okay? The preparation of papers must be done by the legal persons. The promoters must approach financiers with a view to share underwriting. In other words, investment bankers are normally required. Investment bankers are normally required because they are the ones that are specialists in this area. Okay? The issuing houses, they are normally required because they help to incorporate the company. They are going to help to raise the fund needed. Okay? So, but you must know how much you need. All right. So they now go to the memorandum of association. This document is the company's charter. The memorandum is the company's charter and defines the limit to the company's powers. It's the company's charter and defines the limit to its powers. If the company operates outside the powers stipulated in this document, it is said to act ultra vires, that is, beyond its powers. The action can then be declared null and void by a court of law. The memorandum must be signed by each of the applicants, who must also write opposite his name the number of shares he has agreed to take up. According to the Act, the memorandum should contain the following information. The content of the memorandum. 1, the name of the company, with the word limited as the last word of its name. Unless the register of companies exempt the company from using the word, okay, being satisfied that it is to be formed for the purpose of promoting commerce, art, science, religion, charity, or any other useful object, and such a company will not pay any dividend to its members. No two companies may be registered with the same name. That is why if you want to register and bring the name, you go for search. When you go for search, then, and if you're successful, you issue a certificate to start. If you're not successful, continue to look for names. And you know the reason, not to deceive the public. 2, where the registered office is situated. Here, the country, the state or local government, where the head office is situated, must be stated. This is to facilitate communication between the company and the public. Any change must be communicated. Any change must be communicated to the registrar of companies. For easy location, the registrar's office, the head office must be there. Headquarters must be there. Name of so and so company and the location. The object for which the company is formed must be stated. The object of the company defines its powers. It's only what is stated here that the company may legally engage in. It's not when you say you're doing a mining of petroleum. You go there and be mining gold. Whatever you are into must be stated. It has to be legally allowed. The object clause helps the prospective shareholders to know what business the company will be in, and also help potential customers to know the limits of the company's powers. That is why it's very, very important to state the object clause. The next one, you must say that the liability of the members is limited. The memorandum must state clearly that the liability of shareholders is limited. The liability refers to the debts or losses of the company, and a shareholder is not liable for these beyond the amount of share capital he has contributed or agreed to contribute in the business. This is quite different from sole trader and partnership, where the liability is unlimited. In this case, the liability is limited. Specifically, the one that has contributed money is not the manager. He has merely contributed money, he has merely bought shares in the company, so that he will be answering a shareholder. But to that extent, you hire a manager or managers who run the business. In that case, they may run it to your own disadvantage. And when they make losses, what does it mean? When they make losses, if your liability is unlimited, you have to go and pay for their carelessness. But in this case, your liability is limited. So you have little or no problem. It has to be stated that the liabilities of the shareholders are limited only to the amount they have agreed to contribute in the business or the amount of shares they have agreed to buy. That is why in some cases you see called nominal shares, so and so amount called. Maybe share of 50 kobo each, 30 kobo will be called. Whenever there's a problem, the other 20 will be made available for settling the company's debt. After that, your liability finishes. So, let me give you an example. A shareholder who has agreed to contribute or has contributed 300 naira will only lose this amount in the event of liquidation. However, if he has made payment of up to maybe the amount that has been called, say 200, he will only be required to pay the balance of 100 in the event of liquidation or winding up. This perhaps has made the joint companies as a business form very popular in recent years. People prefer taking up ventures whose magnitude of losses is known in advance. If you buy 50 shares, that is what you are going to lose. If you buy 100 shares, that's what you are going to lose. And the case may be. So you will not be called to pay additional fund. That is it. It's very, very important. Then, the next one is the amount of the share capital with which the company proposes to be registered and division thereof into shares of a fixed amount. It has to be specified in the memorandum. Every company must state its authorized capital, or what we call nominal capital, in the memorandum. The amount will depend upon the nature of the business and the prospect of development. Each fixed amount is called a share. Then when these are stated, you go to the Articles of Association. The articles set out the regulations regarding the transfer and the transmission of shares, the holding of meetings, calls and forfeitures of shares, powers, duties and proceedings of directors, etc. The articles are subordinated to and controlled by the Memorandum of Association. The articles are subordinated to and controlled by the memorandum. The memorandum and articles of association, along with the other documents mentioned above, are filed with the Register of Companies. If after this scrutinization, the registrar finds that the documents are all right, especially if they do not contravene the Companies and Allied Matters Act, a certificate of incorporation will be issued. The certificate brings the company into existence, and it can now raise capital, borrow money, and enter into contracts. public limited companies will however receive a further certificate entitling it to commence business. The moment the certificate is issued, the company is born. So you need further effort to get along. In terms of financing, what unlike the sole trader and partnership, a lot of sources of funds are open to a public limited company. All the known sources of short, medium term, long term are available to the joint stock companies, and we'll look at them later in more details. So look at the advantages. One, we rush them. They have limited liability. You have known them. They are legal entities. Okay, they are legal persons. They have expanded financial capability. Yes, because they have money. They have unlimited scope for expansion. They can go into business, but not quite outside the ones that the object clause. Then they have continuity because it's a association of capital and not a association of persons. Then they have specialization in management. They can hire experts to run the business and so on and so forth. Employees may become co-owners in a situation where employees buy the shares of the company, which you know is the intent now. You buy the shares of the company, makes it more committed, and whatever they're sharing, you gain out. The need they're losing, you gain. So it makes the employees to be more serious with the business. So in terms of disadvantages, they lack privacy because they must publish their account to the public. They lack privacy. Then there's separation of ownership from control. Yes, I own as a shareholder, but I don't control because I have other people, the managers, that manage the business. Okay, so that's where you have the agency problem. All right. So shareholders can only exercise control over the business through the appointment of a board of directors. Unfortunately, you know they vote for members of the board. So unfortunately, they are scattered over the country, and therefore not all of them are able to attend the annual general meetings. They vote by proxy. Members of partnership and sole proprietorship control their own businesses, but in this case, they don't control. They vote by proxy because they have to hire members of the board to run the business, and the board makes appointments. Okay? There's also a conflict of interest between the shareholders and directors. That's the pure agency problem. That may exist conflict of interest when, for instance, shareholders would like to, expand the company, but the directors will be content with the present form of operation. They may not like to plunge into risky ventures for fear of failing. Such risky ventures may hold promise of huge profit, but the directors will shy away. Other areas of conflict may be in returning more profit than payment of dividends to shareholders. Shareholders need dividend, while the directors may want to plow the profit back into the business for expansion. There's another one, suppression of individual initiative. Yes, once you are employed, what do? You do as you are told, no matter the initiative you have. So another disadvantage is there is lack of cordial relationship among workers. So these are the major disadvantages of joint stock companies. Joint stock companies are major disadvantages. So the next business form we'll go into is public corporation. Public corporation. Nigeria is a mixed economic system. Okay, it's a mixed economy in which public and private enterprises coexist. The proportion of the two has, however, varied, especially within the past 25 years. Since the end of World War II, the public sector has been widening, largely as a result of increasing state enterprises through the establishment of public corporations and other state-owned enterprises as agencies of economic and social development. They're into transportation, they're into agriculture, they're into mining, they're into quite a lot of things, power and steel. So they're there, as you notice in Nigeria. So because of this, they form public corporation. So public corporation is the most important form of public enterprise. They are created by Acts of Parliament and given a legal personality from that of government. As a body corporate, they can sue and be sued in their own names and can enter into contracts. Nigerian Railway Corporation, Nigerian Coal Board, Water Corporation, Electricity Power Authority, and the rest of them. These are public corporations, and their finance come through budgetary allocations and borrowing. After privatization and commercialization, they are financed privately by their stakeholders. These are businesses that are now being either privatized or commercialized, or both of them privatized and commercialized. So you know most of them now in Nigeria and see how they're operating. The major disadvantage, the problem they had was management, embezzlement, political interference, and the rest of them. So they became very, very good octopus, and they were not functioning well. They were not bringing in anything. They only depended on budgetary allocation. And whatever they were able to generate internally, they put into their purse. So government decided to go into privatization and commercialization, following the recommendation made when they want to borrow money. So it has advantages. Public corporation is a surrogate to public limited companies, where by virtue of its limited resources of both men, material, and money, cannot undertake certain economic ventures, like the railways. Besides, left to the private hands, monopolies of the highest order will emerge, and the public would be exploited. Also, since it is a duty of the government to provide the infrastructure base and other support for industrial takeoff, public corporations oriented towards solving this problem is indispensable to the economic development of the nation. Very good. So it has major disadvantages. However, its major drawback is that the management is usually left in the hands of seasoned crooks and fraudulent individuals whose tribalistic tendencies aid inefficiency in various ways. Nigeria has sometimes invited foreign enterprises or foreign companies to come and manage corporations that seem to remain sick babies in the hands of the Nigerian managers. For instance, we had Nigerian Railway Corporation to be managed by Indian firms, Airways to be managed by Dutch firms, as the case may be. So it's inefficiency that led to the commercialization and the privatization of most of these companies. We'll not go into most of them because they are not being written off. The next society we'll go into is the next business form is cooperative society. So what's a cooperative society? It may be defined as a self-help organization formed either by consumers or producers. Self-help organizations formed either by producers or consumers. Self-help formed either by consumers or producers. We are rushing, please, because we have to stop. So it is formed to provide services to the members. They are common in agriculture and retail distribution and in rural credits and insurance. There are no particular formalities for the formation. It may be written, it may be oral, implied from the conduct of the parties. Membership is voluntary and open to all persons, and members are free to leave when they wish. A number of people may combine to produce a commodity and share the proceeds among themselves. Others may combine as consumers and obtain goods on wholesale terms and return them to members. Any surplus is distributed to the members in the form of dividend on purchases. There are many types of cooperative societies. You have consumers cooperative society, that is members of these cooperatives buy consumer goods in bulk and retail at low prices to themselves. Okay, they also sell to non-members. The share of profit depends on the amount of patronage received from each of the members. You have credit and loan. This is the type of institution that is very popular in towns and villages. It may be in the form of a daily contribution, weekly or monthly rotational savings. Members use this medium to save, and part of the savings is given to needy members as loan at lower rate, lower interest rate, lower rate. Okay. Producer also have a producers cooperative. These are people in a particular line of production. They come together to form this type of cooperative. It is very common among farmers, as you use it, as used to hear about farmers multi-purpose cooperative society. When they are multi-purpose, means they are combining other producers and wholesale and credit and loan. So the major management members elect a management committee to manage its affairs. Every member has an equal vote and can stand for election. Advantages. 1. It encourages members to save. That is, if it is thrift and loan, it increases output. If it is producers cooperative society, provides capital for economic development, yes, increases the income of members, provide facilities for ease marketing of products, yes, and they enable farmers to buy capital equipment. They can combine and buy another tractor or whatever, use it to be cultivating and doing some other thing. They can combine and buy whatever they need, instead of one person doing it. One person cannot do it and survive. One person cannot do it and survive. So it is very, very important. Very, very important. Okay. Each chief drawback. 1. Mismanagement of funds by the management committee. It has always been that. They mismanage funds, they embezzle, then illiteracy on the part of members, especially in situations where they are not educated and in the rural areas. There's this illiteracy on part of members and the fact that they use their money to sponsor candidates during elections, thereby leading to wastages of investable funds, which could have been more used productive or productively utilized. So in terms of financing, the members contribute nearly all the finance, either by subscription, contribution, and retained profit, or in the case of consumers cooperative society, credit purchases. Producers cooperative in the agriculture field obtain finance through leasing. Of equipment. They have grants from the government and borrowing from relevant financial institutions. These sources of finance depend on strength and cooperation of its members. That depends on the strength and cooperation of its members. It all depends on the strength and cooperation of its members. So these are the major types of businesses that we have, how to operate, how they are financed in the business world. And as the case may be, I'm suggesting that your class will now form a cooperative society, other credit and thrift, where you contribute money and be lending to each and every one of you, as the case may be, on a low interest basis. That is a very good one. Some of you that are into producing can go to one area, produce one type of commodity because you have your own egg heads and make profit and share. You can also become a dormant partner, can become a silent partner, can become a secret partner to any business. In that case, you're making it. Whatever you have, you join it with your salary and making ends meet. So there are many forms you can. You can also engage in buying of shares. When you buy shares of a growth company, you'll be expecting dividend and what you call capital appreciation. In case you want to sell your shares, you sell it at a higher price. You make a return. Then if you're waiting for dividend will always come. Whatever happens, is it to make ends meet. So there are many ways you can do it. It's not that you're a civil servant and you just stay there and say you're a civil servant and then wait for a monthly salary. You can extend and save and make ends meet. And in the end, you'll be better for it. Thank you very much for today. That is where we're going to end our lecture for today. Until next week, we'll go into another business form, maybe how to source fund. We'll go into detail on sources of fund. We'll be breaking them one by one and letting you know at each level which business firm can access fund up to that level, especially when it comes to credit purchases, account receivable financing, leasing, and the rest of them. We will not start, waste much time on bank loans. We can also tell you the types of loans you can engage in. all right, short term, long term, medium term, and long term, and when they are necessary. In terms of buying of shares or the ventures issue, we tell you how to do that. In the end, you'll be better off. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you,
Thank
my
you very
brother.
much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Good night. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Mhm.
Thank you, sir.